Hello there, this is Chime from Weeklybagel.com, and I'm back again with another episode of the Weekly Bagel personal finance blog. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what kind of jobs you need to get in order to move out of your parents' house. Excuse me, in order to move out of your parents' house. And if you remember in episode 2, which has the title Moving Out of Your Parents' House, I was talking about the kind of job that you need to get so that you save enough to afford your first apartment and be able to, sustain yourself once you have moved out of your parents' house. Well, in episode 2, I didn't really elaborate more on that. So on this episode, I'm going to be talking about what industries you need to get into so you'll be able to make at least $15 an hour in order to be able to afford a place of your own. Now, as a young working class adult, why is it really necessary to start with at least $15 an hour? Well, given the current economy of the United States right now, you will agree with me that everything is very expensive. This is especially if you live in a city that is very costly. For instance, like if you live in California, and in some of the cities out there, they are very, very expensive. And if you're making $14 an hour, $13 an hour, as in your first job, it's not going to be enough to cut it for you. You won't be able to make enough money to have a place of your own. So now, speaking of expensive cities, I need you to do me a favor. My goal today is to share you the industries and the examples of jobs that will pay you at least $15 an hour. But I'm hoping that when you finally get that job, you're not really negotiating to start with $15 an hour, that you're starting with $18 an hour. The reason being that if you live in a major American city, chances are the lowest rent you're going to find out there are probably going to be $800 a month, and I'm talking about one bedroom. At least here in Texas, it is. And for you to be able to pay $800 a month plus your necessary monthly expenses like food expenses, light, and water bills, you need to be making at least $15 an hour. And by that $15 an hour, you're going to be able to make rent, but you're barely surviving. So going for $18 an hour is much, much better, in the sense that you're still going to be able to pay your rent and have a little bit left to sustain yourself. And if you're in a very expensive city, perhaps it's not really a good idea to start out in such cities. You could find cities with low cost of living, where you could be able to get your first job and pay your necessary monthly expenses and still be able to sustain yourself. Now that I have gotten this off my chest, because I feel like it's important that I tell you that trying to get a job that pays at least $15 an hour in a city that has a high cost of living is not really going to cut it for you. Take for instance, like you're trying to make $16 an hour in New York. You're not going to be able to find an apartment that will charge you $700 rent. So if this is your fate, then we talk about something you're gonna do about this later on in this episode. So that way, if you really want to stay in that city with a high cost of living, you can still be able to sustain yourself by acquiring skills that you're gonna offer, obviously, for money. Now, since it's your first time getting a job in order to save money and move out of your parents' house or your guardian house. There are jobs out there that pay $15, at least $15 an hour, whether you have an experience or not. Typically, these industries they require little or no experience, or they offer on-the-job training. The first industry I'm going to talk about is going to be retail and customer service. Many retail chains that you're going to meet out there will pay you at least $15 an hour with benefits. Some examples of these jobs are, you're talking about Costco, Traders Joe, Postal, HEB, Walmart, you name them. Entry level pay for these kind of jobs as of now, it's at least $15 an hour. I know for a fact that HEB here in Texas we pay you at least $17.50, and it doesn't really require you to have an experience. All you need is to be able to go through their job training, and they have very amazing benefits. Like some of these retail stores, we pay for for your tuition, and we actually encourage you to go to school to acquire skills, and they'll be willing to compensate you for that. So as for someone that is looking to move out of his or her parents' house, if you are looking to go into the retail and customer service industry, I say you consider these retail chains that I told you about. You could go to their website and find some jobs there and apply. And hopefully you're able to get those. Because if you do, it provides a little financial security blanket for you as someone that is starting out, to be able to save up money for 6 months, like I mentioned in episode 3, until you are able to find your own place and move out of your parents' house. The other places too, other industries that pay at least $15 an hour. Warehouses and logistics, they pay a lot of money. If you are someone that likes to assemble or package products, or moving around their packages in trolleys, warehouse job is for you. Nowadays, the most highly demanded one is Amazon warehouses. It's very easy to get in, and they pay at least $15-20 an hour. And inside the warehouse, you might be a package handler, an order picker. You might help to sort out packages. And one thing about this kind of job, especially with the Amazon warehouse jobs, is sometimes it's not even a full day. You get what I mean? Like if you're in college and you're trying to work, it's perfect for you. You can come in whenever they need people to help sort out packages. You can come in and then do your job, and 6-7 hours you're out, depending. I know during their peak season they're very, very busy. Anyway, you also have UPS, FedEx. If you're a forklift operator, you are more likely to make more than $15 an hour. You can make all the way to $18-20 an hour. And being a forklift operator, requires you to train for that. I don't know about your city, but if you could Google forklift operator training, there are some places in most cities that will train you to be a forklift operator for a little bit of money. Usually it doesn't cost more than $200, and then they will train you and get you certified for that. And once you start a job at these warehouses, you make a lot of money being a forklift operator. Also, another industry that has high employment rate, and are always looking for people to work for them, and they're willing to compensate well financially, is the healthcare industry. This is whether you are going for support roles or you're going for caregiving roles. The healthcare industry always has needs for people who are willing to come in and use their empathy and caregiving skills to take care of people that need help. Some examples of these jobs: you have medical assistant. Medical assistant make an average of $16.24 an hour, and most clinics that post such a job, they are willing to train you. And your job might be just collecting vital signs. You might be told to collect the blood glucose level of a patient, or the blood pressure of a patient, or help a patient walk from point A to point B, or go in and help them take a shower, or get them to the right place that they need to be in a clinic. Excuse me. Sometimes some of your job responsibilities might also be office work. You might be organizing files and documents. As a medical assistant, you'll be making an average of $16.24. It's not really bad. You will never handle medication because you're not trained for that, and you will never handle any kind of healthcare interventions. And there will always be nurses out there that do that. So you don't have to worry about that part. And this is something that does not really require experience. It's on the job training. Another kind of job is, pharmacy technician. You get paid about $15.22 an hour at least. And they will often train you at the site. It's a very good job, very flexible, and you always have job security, as if you're starting out as a young working class adult. You also have certified nursing assistant. Now, in the state of Texas, I don't know about your state, but in the state of Texas, this will require you to train for about 4 to 8 week process. It's a 4 to 8 week process whereby you are trained maybe by a local college or a trade school, and after a month or 2 months, you get your certification. The certification is called CNA. Now, with this, I have met some CNAs that are making about $24 an hour, and I kid you not. So I know that you're trying to move out of your parents' house, and you're looking for jobs that will help you accomplish this goal. If you are trying to be a certified nursing assistant and you're very patient, you could use that 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks to train. And after the training, you get certified, you get CNA, and then you start working on that goal of getting a job and saving to move out of your parents' house. And as a CNA, you will make a lot of money. It's not gonna be, you make a lot of money, definitely. Especially if nowadays you're with job recruitment offices that will just send you wherever they need CNAs. Those are the ones that pay a lot. Because I used to have a friend about 4 years ago that they would send her wherever she needs to be, sometimes clinics, sometimes nursing homes, and she was making about $24, $25 an hour. And she only trained for 2 months for this. and she enjoyed it. Yes, because with this one, you're helping patients take their medication, and you're cleaning them, you're taking care of them, you're helping them perform the activities of daily living, which is in a way it's very emotionally rewarding. If you're into someone, if you're into taking care of people, this is a very good job for you. Yeah. Now another one that really pay very well, another one that pays very well is tech and IT industries. Um, the upper echelon of this industry, you know, the upper echelon requires degrees, advanced degrees. But on the lower tier, the entry level, you could get in without much experience because of because the lower tier of this industry has on the job training for you. And one beautiful thing about the tech and IT industry is there's always a remote support option. You get what I mean? So you have remote option where you can work from home, and there's growth potential. And some examples of this kind of industry is the IT help desk, where you can make an average of $18.25. You also have data entry clerk. You can make an average of $15.20 on that one. And for you to be a data entry clerk, you don't really have to be at the office. I think nowadays they have remote jobs where you can do that at home. You also have customer support representative. If you like talking to people and you like solving problems, um, this is really good for you. This kind of job will pay you about $15.22. And nowadays, there are so many companies out there. If you go on Indeed and then you type customer support rep, there's so many companies out there that are looking for people that they're willing to train, to help handle their customer service issues. Yeah. The next industry is hospitality and service industry. Here, one thing I don't really like about this is I feel like the employees here are always overworked, because one of the first jobs I got in the States was actually this, and so I have an experience with this, and I can tell you that um, it wasn't fun. But you're starting out, like I've always told people, yeah, especially younger people, I will tell them, hey, when you're starting out, it doesn't really matter the kind of job that you have, as long as you're making money. Now, what really matters is when you work that job for 10 years, then it's a problem. You get what I mean? But if you're starting out, like you're trying to move out of your guidance house or your parents' house, whatever job you start out with doesn't really matter. As long as you're getting paid at least $15 an hour, and the job could pay for you to have a place of your own. Yeah. So with the hospitality and service industry, there are many examples there. You have servers and bartenders. Usually the wage rate is low. Majority of the money you're gonna make, they're gonna come from tips. So if you're a server or bartender, you might make an average of $10.15 plus tips. So you might end up coming up to $20 an hour, but that's not really what you're getting paid, because majority of that money is gonna be from tip. And this is especially if you're working for high-end restaurants. Another thing is if you're working for hotels as a housekeeper or as a front desk agent, I want you to know that a night shift will always pay more, because nobody wants to work during the night. Everyone wants to go home, right? So they will always pay more for you. If you're a front desk agent, you make an average of $15.20 an hour. They also have other positions there, guide. They also have valet parking attendants. Uh, just like servers and bartenders, valet parking attendants, the majority of the money will always come from tips too. you might get an average of $12.15 an hour plus tips. So eventually it might sum up to about $18 or $19 an hour, but that's not really what you're getting paid. You're getting paid a low base wage rate and then whatever tips the customers give to you for providing services to them, right? And this is the industry that I told you that that was one of the first jobs I got when I was in the States here many years ago. Seems like forever though. Um, with this kind of job, you gotta make sure that you are able to balance your life and your work, because if not, you can easily get overworked and you can easily get burnt out. So anybody going into the hospitality and service industry, I will always tell them, hey, make sure that you're able to find that perfect balance between work and life. Because sometimes you might be off work and then they will call you in and they will try to get you to come to work. You have to be able to find that life-work balance. If you're not the kind of person who wants you at home, you don't want to be called in. When they call you, tell them no. So I feel like I need to throw that one out there because I had bad experience working in this industry. We also have nowadays something we call the gig economy. It's a new industry that started about 10 to 15 years ago, whereby you can work for money, but you're not actually well. You're working for a company that is working for another company. For instance, Uber Eats, right? But you get to fix your own schedule. So that's what a gig work is, or gig economy. And if you're someone that likes flexibility, like let's say you're in college and you try to make a little bit of money, and all that, or you already have a job or you're looking for extra cash, these industries is very sorry for my English. This industry is very flexible, and since you get to set your own schedule and all that, and some examples of the gig economy industry is DoorDash, Uber Eats, freelancing, Instacart shopper. The majority of it is just gonna be DoorDash and Uber Eats. If you have a car, you get to deliver food to other people, and they pay you tips, and that's how you make your money. Yeah. Now, the most important one that I'm gonna talk about, which I have always told young adults, because with this one, your income potential will always keep growing year by year. If you are the patient type and the type that is willing to invest a few months of your time to pick up the skill, you would do well in this industry. This industry is called skilled labor and trades. Usually the trainings are very short. It has high pay and there's long-term growth in it. And most of the jobs in this industry are certified. You're either licensed or you're certified. A very good example is electrician apprentice, right? Now, most companies that are under this industry, we always, take you in as an apprentice and, sign a contract with you. They may be like, okay, come in, work for our company. We teach you how to weld, or we'll teach you, to be an electrician. We'll teach you about construction for maybe 6 months to 1 year. I mean, we're gonna be paying you a lot of money for that. And all you have to do is just stick with us throughout the duration of your training. And then after that, we could renegotiate your pay. So if you don't want to go through the trade school route, there are always companies out there that will teach you all these things. They're willing to take you in if you're going for CNC operator, a machinist and all that. They will take you in and for a short period of time teach you everything you need to know, and you're going to be making money while you're learning. And the best part of it is these companies will always pay for your certification, so that once you're done with it, you can come work for them for an agreed period of time, usually 2 to 3 years. And if you want to leave for something else, you could always do that. But one beautiful thing about skilled labor or skilled trade is once you get that skill, the sky is your limit. Take for instance welding. If you're a welder and say you finish your welding and you take the certification exam and you're a certified welder, perhaps when you're working for a company you'll be making at least say $22, $23 an hour. Once you're on your own, you could set your own rate. And if you happen to work for your companies, I know a welder back in 2017 that was making about how much was he making again? I think he brought home for that year about $80-something thousand, and he was up there at the oil rig down in Texas. Yeah, making all that money. Yeah, so you can make a lot of money from being a skilled labor. And if you are not in a rush to move out of your parents' house, I say take out a few months, join a trade school, and they have a whole list of trades you can learn. There's so many of them. It doesn't really have to be welding, being an electrician. There are also HVAC technicians out there. You have mason, bricklayers. There's so many things out there. People that do roofing. There are a lot of money out there to be made from having any of these skills. You just have to find the right company to train you. And if you can't find any company, there are schools out there. There are thousands of trade schools that you can go. I bet there are even tens of trade schools in your current city right now. You could Google that will really train you and help you get your certification for as little as a few $100s. So if you're not really in a rush to move out of your parents' house, we suggest taking out some months and acquiring this skill, so that when you finally get a job and you start saving money and you save enough to move out of your parents' house, your financial independence, the foundation of it is strong. Why? Because you always have a job. You get what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today in this episode, because I felt like in episode 2 I didn't really elaborate more on what kind of jobs you need to get in order to make enough to save for 6 months before moving out of your parents' house. And I feel like with these industries that I mentioned and these types of jobs that I've mentioned here, you're going to be able to know which one that you want. Or you could try all of them out and see which one you like and stick with it. Now there's something I want to tell you. If you are looking to, once you move out of your parents' house, not to come back and move back in with them, which is the goal of my Weeklybagel podcast, to make sure that once you step out of your parents' house, you are independent, you are financially stable out there. Even if life challenges are very hard and life is hitting you and throwing hurdles at you, you're still going to be able to stand on your 2 feet and handle yourself very well and sustain yourself. One of the things I want you to really be aware of is make sure that the job that you're going for is a job that has that promises growth. And if it's not one that promises growth, you could still use it to hit your short-term goal, which is moving out of your parents' house. But you have to understand that once you're out, you don't just stop there. You get what I mean? Like, say if you got a customer service job, and they're paying you about $16 an hour. You could use that to get a place of your own, and for a while, figure out what your next move is. But you're not gonna have that job forever. You get what I mean? The goal is to make sure that you get into an industry that is quite stable, an industry that once you get into, there's a little bit of financial security as well as job protection. I know you're gonna say that's not realistic nowadays, but yes, there are some jobs you'll be in here in the United States, and you still have the same job for 10 years, and you don't have anything to fear about losing your job. There are jobs like that out there. I can tell you that. Yeah. So I want you to be able to, once you start with a job that doesn't really pay you well, and you're able to move out and find a place of your own, the next thing you're going to plan is to acquire skills that will help you get a job where you are going to have a steady uh, income that grows year by year. What do I mean by this? You're going to acquire a skill that another company is going to need, and then once you start working for that company, every year your income is not going to be the same. Yeah, it's going to be an upward trajectory. There's going to be an annual growth of your income. Like let's say if you made $40,000 last year, then this year you're going to make about 45, next year 50. It's realistic. I'm telling you this. Why? Because I've gone through it all. Um, remember when I told you that my first job, one of my first jobs I had was, the service industry. And if you listen to the first episode when I was talking about Weeklybagel and the reason why I started it, I must have mentioned that one of the jobs I also had was cleaning toilets downtown in my city. But today I'm not doing that anymore, right? I'm in the healthcare field, and I enjoy it. It's emotionally rewarding, and as a surgical tech, which is what I am, and I help the best doctors in my city, take care of their patients, and we do operations in surgical operations in 9 specialties, you know, and I'm quite skilled right now in that industry. I'm very, very skilled, and as a result, I make a lot of money. Do you understand what I mean? Now, had it been that I've stuck with that job that I started with, today I probably wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to take care of my family. I wouldn't be able to take care of my needs. I wouldn't be able to pay for additional, education. So, what am I trying to tell you? Whatever job you start out with, if you start out with the job and it promises growth, and every year, you're gonna be trained, and you're gonna, grow year by year in terms of income and upward mobility, stick with it. But if it's a stagnant job that pays you the same thing year by year and there's little growth, then you and I know that that kind of job is quite risky, in the sense that anything can happen and then you start back from square one. And if anything happens and you lose your job, it means moving back into your parents' house. And what is our goal here? Our goal here is to make sure that once we get you out of your parents' house and you have a place of your own, you are out. You understand? You are now a financially independent, young, working class adult. And you are doing the best that you're doing in your life. And no matter the kind of challenges that life throws at you, you're going to be able to stand on your 2 feet, and you're going to be able to handle your business as an adult. So let me reiterate this again. The job that you're going to start out with doesn't mean it's a job that you're going to stick with for a very long time, right? Your short-term goal right now is to move out of your parents' house. So these jobs that I mentioned here and these industries will help you accomplish this short-term goal. Now, what you need to do is, after you have found your own place, now you're going to start thinking about acquiring skills that are going to help you in the long run. And what is the long-term goal here? That's for you to decide, right? Because my long-term goals and your long-term goals are two different things. I believe that our Creator, whoever created human beings, gave us independence of thoughts and actions. As a result, our destinies are all different. So why you're doing this job, and you move out and you find your own place, and you're able to sustain yourself. If you look at the job that you have and it doesn't really promise growth, especially with the ever increasing economic instability and the inflation that we have currently, I say find the skill that will promise you, skills and that will promise you growth in all aspects. Because remember, if you're the kind that will start a family later, that job that you have right now is not really gonna cut it for you and your family, right? You want to always grow year by year so you'll be able to take care of those that you love, right? So that's what I wanted to tell you. And this is a start. This is a start. This is not the end all be all for you. This job is not the end all be all for you. It's just a start for you to hit your shot, then go. And once you're able to hit that, now we can start working on how to further improve ourselves in order to set ourselves up for success. Am I right? All right. Well, this concludes the episode of the Weeklybagel podcast, and it was really a pleasure talking to you. I'm going to release another episode next week, so be sure to tune back in. And I wish you the best of luck during your job hunting, and I hope you get a job that pays you well enough to afford a place of your own. Because having a place of your own is really good. You gotta have a peace of mind, and you're able to think clearly, and whew, you're gonna have a great time, buddy. All right, that concludes it for me. All right, we'll be talking to you later in another episode. Ciao.